John, how's things been with Scott Brown this week? Callum's just told us it's been quite an emotional week for Scott, but you've known him a long, long time. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been good actually. I think it's one where you kind of take Scott for granted. Worked with him so long. He's been around everywhere. You just expect him to be there again. So I think we've kind of been savouring every moment with him. He's spending a lot of time around the staff and the building and kind of getting his last conversations with people. But it's been emotional as well. You look at him, even training today, thinking this will be your last session here at Lennoxtown. The game the other night was, had a bit of emotion in it as well. So it's good. It's been a nice week. It's been quite a calm week. Good result the other night, good performance for him. His last game at Celtic Park, and hopefully tomorrow we can end on a high again.
And will tomorrow be an emotional day for yourself, because you were of course charged to take the team until the end of the season, but with regards to the future, it's maybe a wee bit uncertain as well?
Not so much emotion. It can be quite cold that way, but it's a case of, again, I've enjoyed every moment of it. It's been good, great experience for myself. It's been a difficult situation, but, from all the staff and the players, they've really rallied round, in terms of getting through this difficult period, because it's easy to, come apart and things fall apart. But inside, there's been a real togetherness. Everybody's been very humble and accepting how the seasons went, and also taking that responsibility to make sure that we stick together right to the end, and that's been the case. So it's been a difficult season for all, especially the fans who have not been able to come in and support the team in the way it's went. But hopefully we can finish on a high and look forward to what the future holds.
And have you been given any reassurances about your future and your position?
No, I've not spoken to anybody on that.
Have you been told Eddie Howe's coming in, John?
Say again?
Have you been told that Eddie Howe is coming in as a manager?
No, I haven't, apart from hearing it from probably your guys. So again, it's a lot of speculation. Nobody spoke to me in terms of what the plans are for next season with the new management set up. So I don't know who they're talking to. I don't know who the options are, and the club are obviously working through that, and they'll confirm that whenever the time's right.
In terms of yourself, do you have any start date to come back for next season, or is any?
Well, we've done. We've penciled in dates because we have to. So in terms of just general planning, because again, there's a lot of staff around the club here at the training ground, who have been here a long time and are very good at what they do, and obviously for them, they have to get things, in place. Always, again, they can be adjusted, but you're talking around kind of mid-June towards that kind of third week in June would be the normal start back date, especially when you have the Champions League qualifiers mid-July, which gives you enough time. So that's penciled in at the moment, but obviously that's subject to change depending on who's making that decision.
What's your thoughts going into the final game of the season and in terms of your team selection?
I want to finish well. Again, we'll have a few bodies and a couple of younger players around it as well in terms of the squad. But we want to be strong. Everybody's in a good place. Everybody wants to be part of it, in terms of this kind of period we've had. Everybody still wants to play their part. So we'll have a good team out. There'll be a couple of changes. There'll be a few guys on the bench as well. And we'll see how the game goes. There'll maybe be some opportunities for somebody to come on as well. So we'll still, as I said, go strong, try and finish well, try and take on a performance from the other night, build on that, and try and get another good result.
Don, there's been links in the press this week to two Hibs players with Celtic, Kevin Nisbet, Josh Doyle at left back. Can you understand why those players might be linked to, and what do you expect from them and the whole team tomorrow? Yeah,
I think Jack's kind of said he'll probably look to make a few changes himself, which makes sense. They've had a busy week themselves. They've got the cup final next week. And if we were in that position, we'd certainly be looking to not take risks with guys who've maybe played a lot of games and maybe your more important players. So I'd expect them to make some changes. But again, they've got a very good squad. Jack's done a terrific job, at Hibs, obviously consolidating third place in the league, which is the first time in a long time, and obviously getting them to a cup final. So it's a great achievement by Jack and his staff and the group of players he's got there. And as always, a bit like yourselves, when you have a successful period, there's always players in there who stand out and become talking points and interest to other clubs. But again, in terms of the new manager, whoever that may be, will have to be the one to make these decisions, alongside the club. They're certainly very good players. There's certainly in Scotland at the moment, there's around the clubs, there's good players there. And as always, Celtic have to use that as the first market that they check, to make sure they're not missing anything. nothing's leaving Scotland that could come here and improve it. So they're very much players who have been looked at in the past, and the new manager, whoever that may be, will have to come in and make those decisions.
Just to double check, you haven't been involved in any transfer talk or speculation at all with people above you at Celtic?
No, there's obviously, we know what the squad looks like, we know who's out of contract, we know the numbers and everything else, but the kind of decision-making process in terms of who's targets, there's an ongoing process all the time, in all my time here, it always operates that there's continual update from our recruitment team of what will become available, what are the options in different positions, and that generally changes, window to window in terms of what's available and what's not. So that will still be there, for whoever comes in to make those decisions. But I don't know when that will be. So again, it's difficult to make any sort of decisions on future transfers when you don't have the manager in place.
Is there any feedback from inside the club that perhaps you might be leaving it a little bit too late? Obviously, you don't want to do things that a new manager won't want, but as you say, you're going to be back in the third week of June. You've got the Champions League qualifiers in July. Is there a fear that perhaps the business might be left too late and you might pay for it at the start of next season?
No, again, it's kind of hypothetical. We don't know when the club will announce things. I think everyone, would like a bit of clarity earlier, but reality is they're obviously going through the process rigorously and make sure they're doing everything they possibly can to get things right. It's a big call for a club. They're making a lot of changes, and they want to make sure they get it right. And obviously they're taking their time over that. So we've got to respect that. It's always difficult when there's no kind of update as such. Then the noise kind of gets filled. The vacancy gets filled with a lot of noise. So again, we just got to trust the club and the process they're going through, and hopefully in the near future we'll get an announcement of some sort.
John, in terms of you personally, obviously it's been a difficult year for the club. There's been many obstacles thrown at you. I don't think this would be your perfect way of having your first sort of managerial gig, but how will you in your later career look back on this season at Celtic?
Probably for me personally, it's priceless in terms of development wise. It's been a difficult season for all because I've been here a long time. I've been through the successful times and I know how good it can be. And this season's been the toughest of all. In all my time, both as a player and on the coaching staff, it's been the toughest of all in terms of what we've had to deal with. The pressure of the season, the way it went, and then trying to fight back from that's been very difficult. So that's been tough. And then obviously Neil loses position, who I worked very closely with again. So there's been a number of hits to take there, and then obviously you're asked to then for the final few months of the season go and take the job. It's always my ambition at some point. I've never been in a rush to do it to manage, but obviously circumstances weren't perfect. But again, it's an opportunity and experience that not a lot of people can get. And for me personally, the development side of things and having to deal with a lot of the things that go on in tough times, it's really good for me going forward. So probably later in my life, I'll look back and say that was a priceless experience I had.
Finally, for me, John, I don't want to put you on the spot, but knowing who you are and how long you've been with the club, if you were offered the job as manager, you wouldn't turn it down, would you?
Say again?
I'm saying, considering your affiliation with the club, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you were offered the Celtic job, you wouldn't turn it down, would you?
No, but that's not the situation. I think if it was, we'd know that before now. It's the same if somebody put you in the top man in STV, would you turn it down?
I am the top man in STV, John.
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
What are you trying to say here?
I mean the top man. Not just
That's all right.
John, can I ask you how, now that you've had that taste of management and all the kind of duties and responsibilities that go with that, how hard would it be if a new manager comes in and you're part of the backroom staff rather than being, the manager again? Would it be hard for you to stay and do that, or do you think maybe you might actually look elsewhere to become that number one figure?
I think for me, it's just a case of again the chemistry being right and whatever else it might be. Again, I've had no discussions over this, and again, so it's kind of hypothetical. But in a way, it's I've not set my sights on being a manager immediately. I've had a good experience of it now, but again, it's always about the challenge and the next step for me and making sure that I'm comfortable with that. In terms of how I approach a job, as long as I feel it's right, I'm working with the right people in the right place and it's going somewhere, then, and if I commit to something, I'm loyal to that. And that's been the case through my time here as well. I've had opportunities in my time to go and do something elsewhere, and I chose not to because I felt the project was right here, and if I was in a good place, developing well, and I enjoyed what I was doing. So that's very much the case. And again, whatever the situation for me going forward may be, again, I'll just weigh up all these similar things.
It's an interesting, you use the word loyalty there, and you have been extremely loyal to Celtic. A lot of people looking from the outside in will find it maybe a little bit unfair that you haven't been kept in the picture. Has that been quite hard for you not to have been kept in the picture? And in fact, you know, would you even go further to say that maybe you deserve to be kept in the picture?
No, I think I've had, you know, communication with Peter, you know, every other day. So we've spoke a lot. I think there's also an element of privacy around the process they go through in terms of, you know, what they're doing behind the scenes. And I respect that. I've seen it before. I know how it operates. So as the information I've got is fully what I expected. And certainly the club haven't been hiding anything from me that I need to know. So they've given me all the support through this time. They've been absolutely terrific in terms of anything we've needed around the place, you know, just to help us through this final few months. They've been very supportive, you know, been terrific. We've got a good relationship with them all, you know, and that'll never change. So I've got absolutely no issue with that.
It's been good chatting to you, John, these last couple of months. Cheers. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, John. All the best. Thank you.
All the best. Enjoy the break when it comes.